What do you do when your country sends you somewhere it will never admit exists? No orders on paper, no rescue if it goes wrong. This is your life as an SAS operator dropped into hostile territory on a mission that officially never happened, where capture means total erasure. Here's what it really looks like. The curtain moves on a floor that should be empty. Your hand is already inside your jacket before your brain has finished the sentence. Pistol grip, no serial number, no markings, no country of origin. If this goes wrong tonight, a junior Foreign Office diplomat will release a statement describing you as a British national and expressing concern. That is the last official thing that will ever be said about you. Your name is not in any file in Whitehall. Your presence in this city is not logged in any system. You did not enter the country through any checkpoint that left a record. You do not officially exist here, which means the government that trained you, armed you, and deployed you will not officially send anyone to bring you back. 3 hours ago, your contact missed the drop. 2 hours ago, the secondary extraction route was burned. Now, you are standing in a hallway, in a building you were told was clear, in a country you did not officially enter. And somewhere on the floor above you, a curtain is still moving. This is the part they never put in the recruitment material. There is no extraction plan. There is no voice in your earpiece waiting to authorize a rescue. The mission doesn't exist, which means if you were taken, your rescue cannot exist either. To understand how you got here, civilian clothes, sterile weapon, a cover story with less than 2 hours left in it, you have to go back to the beginning. Not the beginning you imagine when you think about the SAS. The beginning where they take everything from you to find out what's left. The beginning is a car park in Hereford at 4 a.m. and a Bergen that weighs 25 kilograms without food or water. You have not been told how far you are going. No time to beat. No map beyond a single laminated grid reference. You know only this: 64 kilometers of the Brecon beacons, and the directing staff 10 meters away has not spoken a word to you since Tuesday. That silence is the first test. You are used to authority that explains itself. Ranks, briefings, orders with reasons behind them. Here, there is nothing. Just weight on your back, fog on the ridgeline, and a direction. You start walking. 90% of the men who attempt SAS selection will not finish it. Not because the terrain destroys them, because the silence does. No one tells you how you are doing. No one confirms you are on track or heading for failure. You walk into a vacuum of feedback. And the vacuum is the entire point. The Brecon beacons do not care who you were. Your commendations mean nothing on that ridge. Your years in service are weight you cannot physically carry. The mountain does not grade on history. You learn this somewhere around hour 6. You learn it in your legs. Every week, another life. If you're staying for the whole climb, subscribe. You do not quit. Not because you are tougher than the men falling out around you. Because you made one decision, somewhere in the dark before the start line. And quitting would mean going back to a version of yourself that never found out what was behind the door. That is the only thing moving your legs. Not pride. The door. Week 2 thins the field further. Week 3 takes more. The combat survival phase strips everything you thought you understood about your own endurance. And then there is the interrogation. Days in a barn, unmarked uniforms, the same 4 questions repeated until time stops having edges. When it ends, there are fewer faces in the room than you expected. A color sergeant calls your name, hands you a beret the color of desert sand, says nothing else, turns away. You have passed. You do not yet know what you have passed into. But the regiment has already decided what you will be asked to do next, and it will never be written down. They put you in D Squadron before you have unpacked. 16 men, 4 troops, boat, mobility, mountain, air. You are assigned to Air Troop, which means halo insertions from 30,000 feet, oxygen masks, controlled free fall through darkness until the altimeter screams at you to pull. Your first briefing lasts 11 minutes. The file you are handed contains 4 pages. 3 of them are blank. The regiment moves at a different speed now. Not faster, more deliberately. You train 7 days a week for the first 6 months. Language school in the mornings, Pashto, Arabic, Hausa, whatever the current mission set demands. Patrol skills in the afternoons. Close quarter battle in the evenings until the range smells like brass and burnt carbon and the target shapes are worn through. Then the deployment comes. West Africa. No announcement. A passport that carries a name that is not yours. A commercial flight with 3 men you have trained beside for months and have never once asked a personal question. You land in a country you cannot name in any document, and you go to work. The objective is a building. 2 British nationals inside. 48 hours from the phone call to wheels down. The job takes 23 minutes. The debrief takes 11. Verbal only. Your commanding officer writes nothing. There is a form, 1 page, that records the dates you were absent from the garrison. The purpose field says exercise. You sign it. That word stays with you. Exercise. Because you know what you did. You know the heat, the door frame, the exact second the objective was secured. You know it happened. But as far as any paper trail is concerned, it almost didn't. That is classified, files sealed, access restricted, known to perhaps 100 people in Whitehall, if you were generous with the count. Then comes the Gulf, a different job. 6 weeks embedded with indigenous forces that officially receive British support through a separate program entirely. You are not listed on that program. You are not listed anywhere. The after action is a single paragraph sent to one address that does not reply. That is not classified. That is deniable. You are beginning to understand the difference, and it is not a small one. And somewhere above you, someone has noticed that you understand it. They have not said a word, but the next envelope that lands on your CO's desk has your name on it already. The envelope contains a time and a room number. Nothing else. The man waiting in that room does not have a rank. He does not have a name you will keep. He gives you 22 days, 1 city, and a cover identity so thin it would dissolve under any real scrutiny. He is from Vauxhall Cross. He does not say that. You know from the way he briefs. Lateral, precise, completely untethered from anything with a budget code. He describes the operation in 11 minutes. No country is named, no organization is attached. He uses the word asset 4 times and partner once and never explains the difference. When he finishes, he asks if you have questions. You have 17. You ask none. There is nothing to sign, nothing to receive. The RAF movement that puts you on a connecting flight out of Bryce Norton logs you under a name that belongs to a civil servant who retired in 2009. You carry 1 encrypted device. You service 1 dead drop. You observe and report to a number that answers once and never again. 22 days in a city that does not know you are there. A city where knowing would get you killed. Not arrested, not detained. Killed within 48 hours of discovery. You carry that weight through checkpoints and hotel lobbies and 3 a.m. streets where you do not make eye contact for longer than it takes to calculate threat. The device vibrates. The message is 6 characters. You already know what they mean. The drop goes clean. The window closes. You are back in the UK before anyone in your squadron thinks to ask where you have been. You tell them, selection refresher. They do not push. Some of them recognize the particular blankness behind your eyes. Vauxhall sends nothing. No debrief, no document. One call, 4 minutes, the first name man again. He says well done the way you say it when you mean you were useful. You have been useful. That is not a compliment. It is a notation. And the man with no name is already placing it somewhere you will never read. 3 weeks later, you are called to a room you have never been in before. No sign on the door. 2 men inside. Both have the particular stillness of people who have stopped carrying identification. The offer takes 11 minutes. You accept in 30 seconds. Special Projects Team. The name tells you nothing. The ops tempo tells you everything. You used to deploy twice a year. Now it is twice a quarter. The missions are shorter, tighter, and they leave no trace on any document you are authorized to see. Your squadron still carries your name on its roster. You are rarely there. Your wife has a system now. She stopped asking when you were coming home 8 months ago, the 3rd time the answer changed between the question and the answer. She texts, here if needed. You do not always reply. Sometimes you cannot. Sometimes you just do not. Your daughter is 6. She draws a family portrait for school. You see it on the refrigerator 3 weeks after she made it. There is a mother, a dog, a house with yellow windows. There is a blank space where the father should stand. Your wife says she did not tell her to leave it. She just left it. You do not mention it. Neither does anyone else. The second deniable deployment comes 14 months after the first. Different continent, 3rd country with a name that would raise questions at any legitimate border. You are there for 72 hours. The target is a man who moves between 3 governments without belonging to any of them. A facilitator. The kind whose absence reshapes things without any single person being able to name the change. He is eliminated. No body recovered. No file opened. No medal issued. The kill is clean, the exfil cleaner. And by the time you cross international waters, your name has already been removed from the operational timeline. Back home, the weight is yours alone. There is no one authorized to share it. Not your wife, not your troop sergeant, not the 2 men in that room with no sign on the door. You carry the knowledge the way you carry everything else. Forward, silent, and without being asked. And then a notification arrives. Formal this time. Your name appears in a document that fewer than 40 people in the United Kingdom are cleared to read. The number beside your name is not a rank. Not yet. But you have seen that number before. And you know what comes next. The number is a handler code. Not yours. His. You have seen it on 3 separate intelligence products over the past 18 months. Always unsigned, always in the same career font. Now, it appears beside your name. That means the relationship is official. That means you belong to someone you have never met. You meet him 6 days later in a hotel corridor in a city you are not authorized to name. He is 53, navy suit. He shakes your hand like a banker and calls you by a name that is not your name. You answer to it without thinking. That is the first warning you don't register. The first cover is shallow, a business consultant, regional focus, 2 weeks, maximum exposure. You memorize a legend, a manufactured life, in 72 hours. Flight records, a LinkedIn profile that has existed for 4 years and has 11 connections. A sister in Edinburgh who will confirm the story if anyone rings. No one rings. The second cover is deeper. 3 months, different name, different profession. A backstory you rehearse until it starts to feel like memory. You stop correcting people when they use the wrong name. That is the second warning you don't register. The regiment is still there. You still draw pay. You still appear on the nominal roll. But the regiment cannot follow you into these rooms. The men you would die for have no clearance for what you are doing now. You are a soldier in name and on paper. In every other dimension, you are something the state can plausibly deny. SIS handlers do not debrief you the way your troop commander does. There is no hot wash, no lessons learned. There is a quiet question. Did it work? And a quieter nod. Good. And then the file closes, and your name is not in it. You are not the author of what happened. You are not even a footnote. You are a tool someone put down and forgot to label. And then one morning, you wake up in a clean hotel room and spend 40 seconds trying to remember which name you checked in under. You find it, but it takes 40 seconds. Last month, it took 5. The 40 seconds becomes a minute, then 2. You start writing the name on your wrist before you check in, not because you will forget it, because you no longer trust yourself not to. 17 operations, 14 countries, 9 of them, officially, were never yours. You were never there. The files say so. You have learned to agree with the files. You retire on a standard pension. There is a citation in a folder you do not open. Your daughter asks what you actually did for 30 years. You tell her training. She is 26. She stopped asking 2 years ago. The handler who recruited you dies of a heart attack in Cheltenham. No ceremony, no announcement in the corridor. The operations die with him. The coordinates, the rooms, the decisions made at 0200 in countries that officially have nothing to do with Britain. Gone into the ground with a man most of the intelligence community never met by name. And then there was a fresh face in the briefing room. Same beret, same silence, same unsigned paperwork on the table between you. He looks the way you looked at 23. Intact, unbroken, still certain. You were certain once. You say nothing. This is what the missions that never happened actually cost. Not your body, though they cost that too. Not even your name. They cost the man who knew what his name was without having to think about it. The man who slept without first mapping the exits. That version of you filed himself away somewhere around year 11, and you have not been able to locate him since. That is the answer the video opened with. That is what deniable means. You completed every operation. You did not complete them whole. He will sit in that chair. He will sign nothing. He will go to countries that do not know his name. And one morning, in a clean hotel room, he will spend 40 seconds trying to remember which name he checked in under. He will find it, but it will take 40 seconds. There is another ladder where the uniform is a suit and the casualty count is higher, where the operations are mergers and the deniable actions move markets before anyone outside the room can read the numbers. If you want to know what that costs, subscribe. We build one of these every week. And if this one got into your head, put it in the algorithm. One tap. Let someone else find out what they signed up for. The cycle continues.